I would like to show you how to do addition and subtraction using complex numbers. And let's get an example on the board straight away. Here you can see two numbers that I have gone and put together. A is going to be 12 with an angle of 40 degrees, and that is in its polar format. B is going to have a value of 8 and an angle of minus 55 degrees, and that's also going to be in the polar format. Now what we need to do is immediately convert them to the rectangular format as well, because sometimes you're going to use the polar format and sometimes you're going to use the rectangular format. And so I have quickly gone and done this using my calculator. In the case of A, you can see that the rectangular format is going to be 9.19 plus J 7.71. In the case of B, you can see that the rectangular format is going to be 4.59 minus J 6.55. There is a very important line that I've gone and added in red, and that says whenever you are adding or subtracting, always work in the rectangular format. When you are multiplying and dividing, you're going to use a different format, but whenever you're going to add and subtract, you always have to work in the rectangular format. So let's start off and add together A and B. I'm going to write them one on top of the other. So I'm going to write down A, and A is going to have a value of 9.19 plus J 7.71. And below that, I'm going to write down the equivalent of B. B is going to have a value of 4.59 minus J 6.55. So all that I'm going to do is I'm going to go and add those two together, and if I add them together, I'm going to get a value of 13.78, and then I'm going to go and add those two together. Be careful, one of them has got a negative number, so when I do go and add them together, I'm going to end up with plus J 1.16. Now I would just have to go and convert that back to its polar format in case I need that. And the polar format of that, doing it on your calculator, is going to give you a value of 13.83 with an angle of 4.81. And that's it. If I was to go and add those two A and B numbers on the top left-hand side, I convert them to their rectangular format, I add the rectangular formats together, and I end up with a final answer, which if I want to, I can go and convert back into its polar format. And that is going to be the final answer. Let's go and do the opposite. I'm now going to go and do A minus B. Once again, I'm going to write them down in the rectangular format, and all that I do is I subtract the bottom number from the top. So in this case, 9.19 minus 4.59 is going to give me a value of 4.51. Be careful, I've got a negative number over here, so it's going to be a positive number minus a negative number. Get your mathematics correct, please. So that becomes 7.71 minus 6.55, which is the same as 7.71 plus 6.55. And that's going to give me a positive J value of 14.26. Now, once again, if you want to, you can go and put that down in the polar format. And I always like to make sure that I put both numbers down in case the mathematics after this is going to go and differ. And that should give me a polar format of 14.96 with an angle of 72.45 degrees. And that's the final answer. So if you were to go and add A and B together, or if you were to go and subtract B from A, that's the way you are going to do it, and that is going to be the final answer.